What is cloth? Taylor, don't hurt me. Assistant Professor of Home Economics, University of Illinois. I'm listening. What is cloth? Hurry up, tell me! Oh, that's cloth. Now I remember.
Mrs. Adams is a whiz on a sewing machine. And it's partly because she knows her materials and how to get the most out of them. Her daughter Nancy has hurried home from school today, for she has just started her first semester of home economics. And she has asked her mother to help her learn more about clothes and cloth.
Give me one good reason to keep wearing
What are
them.
the advantages of the different kinds of cloth? How do you distinguish between different materials?
I guess I just don't.
Nancy wants to make a new skirt, so her mother agreed to show her a little bit about basic fibers, yarns, and textiles. Mother has 3 samples ready to show Nancy. She wants Nancy to look at each material, to feel it, to see what differences she observes.
Then she'll just buy something cheap off the rack at
There's
Target.
wool gabardine. You've heard of that. And cotton gabardine. They are both popular fabrics for many purposes. And there's a relatively new material, rayon gabardine.
Oh, don't touch it. It's highly toxic.
How can we distinguish between these materials if they are not labeled?
The sniff test?
There are simple tests that will help us identify them. They're easy to do at home with only a candle and a simple magnifier.
I just want to know what cloth is.
Take 2 threads from the wool, for example, and see what happens when they are burned.
The Arsonist's Guide to Textiles.
Wool smells like burned hair or feathers. Just remember, wool, which is something like animal hair, smells like hair when burned.
Great.
When the ends are magnified, we can see brownish balls on the ends of the fibers.
Is that cloth?
The wool ball crushes easily and just powders off, too.
This is fresh. 3 days.
These 2 characteristics identify wool, the burned hair odor and the brown, easily crushed ball.
Oh, don't say easily
And
crushed
because
balls.
both threads tested the same, we know the sample is all wool. We did test 2, warp and filling.
Now let's get crazy.
How do we tell warp from filling? The warp threads are those which run the length of the fabric. The filling threads are the ones woven in across the warp, or the width of the cloth, from selvage to selvage.
So is cloth like a metaphor, or?
It is difficult to tell the warp from filling threads on a small sample. But if you look closely, you'll see that the warp threads, here running vertically, are more tightly twisted and heavier than the filling threads.
Better burn it all to be sure.
Now, we'll test the warp and filling threads of this acetate rayon. When burned, its odor is sourish. Remember, this is acetate rayon, different from regenerated rayon.
Oh.
Burning acetate rayon forms this blacker, very shiny ball on the fibers.
Shiny balls. Got it.
But the ball on the rayon fibers is hard, very hard. So it's easy to tell the difference between the acetate rayon ball and the powdery wool ball.
We did it.
If you heat a whole piece of acetate rayon, it melts, almost like sealing wax. That's why you must never use a hot iron on acetate rayon.
Learning a crap ton about pyrotechnics, but not a whole lot about
now
cloth.
Let's test the cotton yarn. Cotton smells like burning waste paper.
The flame purifies all.
No black or brownish ball, though. Nothing much but scorched-looking ends.
Yeah, this cotton's got no stones, I tell you.
You yourself can make the simple test to distinguish wool and acetate rayon.
Does it involve a flamethrower?
But the results from burning cotton are the same as from 2 other fibers, linen and regenerated rayon.
Yup, okay, let's
Mrs.
see it.
Adams' book on textiles says that technical tests are needed to tell the difference between fibers of cotton, linen, and regenerated rayon.
Does it say anything about pleather?
Great care should be taken in laundering heavily napped material to avoid packing or felting the nap. And it should never be ironed.
Always iron.
Nancy's
Got it.
wondering exactly why you can't launder all materials. Why must some things go to the dry cleaner?
Because Seinfeld needs
Because
material.
wool is very sensitive to hot water and the alkali of strong soaps. These destroy its elasticity, its springiness, and shrinking and felting occur.
But what is
One
cloth?
wool sock got washed with cotton socks by mistake. The other was washed correctly in lukewarm water with mild soap.
The other was washed with new Tide Plus Color Guard.
On the next wash day, Nancy learns that rayons wash well, but lose about half their strength when wet.
Just like me.
Wet rayon should be handled very carefully and should be turned inside out and ironed on the wrong side to prevent iron shine. Iron temperature is very important, too.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
We saw how excess heat melts rayon.
Let that stand as a warning to synthetic fibers everywhere.
Cotton and linen launder well. They can be washed in very hot water, and so are called the most hygienic fabrics. They can be ironed with a much hotter iron than is used on rayon.
In fact, they like it.
But what about the material for Nancy's skirt? Can you remember what she had learned about fibers and how to tell them apart? About yarns and how they are woven into different cloth materials?
Just barely.
Besides color, design, and price, Nancy will think of warmth, wearability, and washability.
Oh boy.
Then she'll walk with a well-dressed air.
Look out, youth group. Thank you so much for watching Fun with Shorts. This series is supported by Patreon and patrons like these wonderful people right here. They get early access to new episodes and exclusive episodes every month. Also, check out the updated funwithshorts.com for DVDs and merch and all the good stuff. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next time.